Hi everyone, and welcome to the Good Woo. This is your weekly woo, and we pulled Bear, let's see if you can see that, and Violet. There you go. So what is so incredible is the Bear totem's key word is introspection, and so is Violet's. So it's really clear this week that after this enormous full moon eclipse that was exact last night or early morning, depending on where you are, there is just such a massive amount of release taking place. The opportunity we have to clear out inherited belief systems that hold us back from living in our heart, from loving ourselves and loving each other. You guys, it's just massive. But with any cleanse that we are a part of, that we decide to embark upon, it can be exhausting, and we need so much rest right now. And when I say rest, I'm not just talking about, getting that good at least 8 hours of sleep a night, taking naps. I'm talking about that introspective rest, that contemplative state. And again, not just when you're like meditating and you're actually taking the time of like 20 minutes with a timer to meditate. I'm talking about walking, bathing, eating with this space between your thought and the feeling that the thought creates, the space between what someone says to you, taking the space, that space in between to go, okay, how does that feel in my body, what they just said? What do I want to say? And what do I say to propagate what I truly want in my life? This idea of allowing space, the breath of heaven between you and everything you say and do. That is the gift right now. But there is an energy, because guess what, everybody? I'm doing the extended for everyone today. There is an energy of wanting, especially with this Mars and Aries energy, of no, it's got to happen right now, an urgency. And so I'm going to show you. The goddess is Brigid. Now, she is a counterpart to Archangel Michael. She's the triple Celtic goddess, Maiden Mother Crone energy. So this is very much the moon energy, so to speak, that feminine in all of us. And the feminine, there's an element of a decision we're going to be making, because we also pulled this plant, Spilanthes, which is keyword is decision. So there's this element of, I want to take action, and yet we know we have to let the breath of heaven really seep into every space we can. But you may be making internal decisions. And when we get Violet, and even Bear, right? Bear hibernates, goes into, how much more introspective can you get? And the bear represents the intuitive part of our brain, the intuitive part of our entire process. So the action that we can take, we can use this urgency. First of all, of course, with the urgency, if you feel like you have the energy to sweat, to run, to do the cardio, but more so, I'm seeing where like the stretching, the Tai Chi, the gentle movement, the walking, like what is going to support this idea of space and the breath of heaven between you and all things that we perceive as outside of us. Now, Violet is such a beautiful plant. If you're lucky enough to be in an area where they grow, they're so delicate and magical. But the violet blooms, the purple blooms, don't actually hold the seed. What holds the seed are tiny little green flowers that are like camouflaged within the plant so that that seed is protected. So this idea of, you know, you want to take action, but there's so many planets in retrograde, and Mercury's in retrograde, we could fumble in a way. Like there's still more information coming in about the situations in your life, but about yourself, about what you really want and what you truly value. So you're going to be using that, oh, gotta do it now. You'll use it to make internal private decisions within yourself. Now, this may look like, and this is why I think this card is so important, and then let's go to this card that we pulled, which was the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is that energy center in your magnetic field that is between your belly button and you know, your base, your private area, your reproductive organs. It symbolizes the reproductive organs, the reproductive nature, the creative impetus, it's where we stem, it's like where our ideas come from. And the color is orange, which I thought was so interesting because look at this, Spillanthus is orange. So the idea also that these decisions that we're making, you know, because a full moon is all about release, ending, letting go, tying it up, saying goodbye. And when it's an eclipse, it's like slam the door shut. It's not going to open again. So with this sacral chakra, it's talking about there are habits, foods, people, situations in your life that are toxic to you. You see what they are. We all see what they are now. And this idea of make that decision, right? It can be a secret decision. You don't have to broadcast it, right? It can be that green seed that's camouflaged in that little green flower. But the decision is clear. You know what has to go. So own it and don't back down on it, right? Don't back down. You already know. Now, the other cards we pulled was Starseed. Look at this image. I think this is really cool. Sorry, my light sort of. Starseed. And the Garden and the Gates. Yes, it's a new deck. So I want to talk about Starseed. This card is all about embracing the fact that we are multi-dimensional beings, that yes, we are in a body having a third dimensional experience, but ultimately we were seeded from the stars. And that cosmic energy is all around us. We're swimming in it. It's a soup. And although we can't see it, oh, human, you know, humans think we know everything. We think we got it all figured out. But the truth is, there's so much unseen going on around us. We are not at all in control. And there are forces much larger than us at work. How do you humble yourself to that? How do you engage with that energy? How do you engage with that energy so that you are open to its guidance and that higher vibrational, higher perspective that is going to allow you to make these decisions to better your life, to let go of toxic people, behavior, patterns in yourself. I mean, it always comes back to ourself, always. And one thing in particular that, you know, I just made a video of it, that shame and guilt being the lowest vibrational state a human can be in, and how if we could release the shame and the guilt, really this world would look incredibly different. But we have inherited this shame and guilt from hundreds and hundreds of years of human activity, pain. You know, there's just a lot that has gone down with the human race. And who we are now, the human beings on the planet now, we're all still holding all of that. So the question is, how can you go into some deep introspection and start thinking about how do you let go of all of this shame and guilt that you've inherited? whether it be from like the religions, and that dogma that's so based in judgment, whether that's just from this lifetime, the mistakes you've made. How do you let the shame around it go? And this other idea, when the sacral chakra comes up, which is our sexual energy, sexual and creative energy being the same energy, the same vibration. And this idea that we have been taught to feel ashamed about our bodies and our sexuality and what sex is. And yes, this comes from the church and religions and all of that, but then you have to start asking yourself, what do I do to propagate the shame and guilt in my life? And pleasure being a birthright. I just was in this moon circle with an international group of people this morning before I made this video, and we sing to the earth, and we thank the earth for all she's given. And today in particular, I was holding my body and singing with one hand on my belly, one hand on my chest, and I made this realization, which was, here I'm singing this song, the earth is my teacher and companion. When I listen, she leads me home. And I'm holding my body and I'm singing it, and I realize, oh man, the human body is an extension of planet Earth. We are made from her dust, right? We're a mixture of the earth and stardust. And it goes back to, excuse me, this card was dropped, goes back to this starseed card. And that how we treat our bodies is how we're treating the planet, is the energy that's going to be coming back to us. And like right now, with this, all of this eclipse energy, and everything aligned with the star of Sirius, the star of Vega, and there are other benevolent aspects to this eclipse that we're still in the portal of right now, really giving us these aha moments of, oh my God, it's all so much more connected at such a deep and personal level, that yes, we are star beings encapsulated in earth form. It was so powerful, this realization. And this idea that, shame and guilt will drive us away from taking care of ourselves. And right now, we've got to take care of ourselves. We're still in the P word, because of the C virus. How we take care of ourselves and nurture ourselves is never been so important right now. And I feel like a lot of this don't back down is, no, you got to make a decision right now to stop doing what hurts you, and to stop hanging out with people who don't value you, and to stop sharing yourself with people who don't really want it, right? I think we're really seeing who we're aligned with and who we're not, what we're aligned with and what we're not. And once you make those decisions, hold true to them. And that's another lesson of Spillanthus. This idea that Spillanthus was actually, it was called the toothache herb plant, because it had all this antimicrobial effect. It could, not only take the pain away, it had a numbing agent in it, but it would disinfect the infection like a natural antibiotic. And so when it comes to decision, it's like you are being that antibiotic, and that the sort of the microbials that are causing problems are these habits and circumstances that are stealing your power away. But let me rephrase that. You're giving your power away to it, right? And this goes back to the next video I'm going to make this week, which is about the difference between victim consciousness and creative consciousness, right? Because the sacral chakra, if it's healthy, you understand that you create your life and you're taking responsibility. You are making decisions. You are taking that introspective time. to really align with this higher part of yourself, right? And you align with this higher part of yourself to make these decisions that you're not going to back down on to better yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit. This leads me to the garden at the gate card. And if you can see, she's in her garden and has everything that she needs, but there is this world on the other side, and she's a little bit like, I don't know, I'm not sure yet. Good. This moment of pause, right, that I'm talking about, the breath, the introspection, to take the time to make these internal decisions and let them sit. Because once you commit, the universe will support you. It's such a beautiful thing. Once you commit, unknown benevolent forces come in to help. And then if you don't know what that next best step is, you wait, right? You take that time to hibernate. No need to rush it. No need. Right now, we are cleaning out internally in mind, body, and spirit so that, and this is a new deck as well, and her name is Sarah Lakali, Saint Sarah, whose main message is, I have arrived, I am where I always will be, in love. This idea that we clear out all of this stuff that we've inherited from past generations, then to get really focused to say, okay, that was theirs, I'm detaching from it, I'm burning it, I'm pulling the cord out, so that I can get even more introspective now and really figure out, okay, that was theirs, what is mine moving forward? And the idea is that what is going to be ours is a world filled with unconditional love. Now that may sound trite, but try unconditionally loving yourself through some shame and guilt this week. It is the most difficult work we will do, and yet that is what is required of each and every one of us now. Love yourself through the guilt and the shame. Love your brothers and sisters through the guilt and the shame of what we have all done collectively to bring us here. I know one place that really is heavy on my heart is like, you know, the planet will survive. It's humanity that's at stake. And to save ourselves, the only answer is love. There's no other way around it. But if the individual does not love themselves, the collective vision of unconditional love can't exist. So the work is intimate. The work is with ourselves. This intimacy of the bear going alone into hibernation, that is what we must do so that we can truly love ourselves, despite what we've done in our life that's led us to disappointment or heartache. Of course, we've all let ourselves down, and of course, other people have let us down. But what now? What now when the veil has been lifted and we're seeing all the structures collapsing in our personal lives, in the external world, in the governments? So even though we're gonna have this desire to bluster through, we're supposed to take that fire energy and we're supposed to put it in our sacral chakra. And we are to burn away these patterns, these belief systems, these addictions, these habits, these grudge points, these resentments, these disappointments, the self-pity. We got to burn it all away. And we have everything we need at our disposal to do it. Now, the crystal card for this week was Larimar. And I'm pulling her last because this card is all about service. The mantra that this card, my journey is my gift to the world. I think that says it all. That it doesn't really matter what you've done and who you've been. if you take advantage of the moment to rectify it all by loving yourself despite it. And to love the person that you think has done you wrong, to love them despite what they've done. And believe me, that is so much easier said than done. It's something I work on daily. And the days where I do nail it and I am able to see those people with the eyes of Christ consciousness, loving them despite it, there is this unbelievable perspective and level of energy and well-being that comes through. So this other idea of it doesn't matter what's happened to you, how bad it was, well, all that matters is, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with what your life has been up to now? And if you are someone who has survived horrible things, then your job is even more important. That you share your journey. And sometimes, we think, oh, I don't want to share because I'm not there yet. We're all works in progress. Even when we pass through to the other side and make the transition that we call death, we're still expanding and growing. And I could almost guarantee that the soul then says, okay, where's the next place where I'm going to expand through pain and learning and karma and choice making? So Larimar is also, these cards have their own totem, and the totem is beluga whale. So I would encourage you guys to Google beluga whale or YouTube or find some footage on them. They sing, and they are so rare, and there's an element of, in my opinion, like everything on this planet has been seeded. We're all alien. All the plants and animals are alien, and we're all on this planet that is actually like a living library of galactic creations. So spend some time with beluga whale this week and with bear, because bear, where did it go? Oh no, here it is. This idea of choosing to listen to your intuition, and what intuition is the body telling you through sensation to stop or to go. Yes, this works. No, it doesn't. And we can't listen to our bodies and the sensations and the subtle vibrations it gives us, our soul gives us through the physical. We can't listen to it if we're bombarded and constantly distracted with technology and gotta get this and gotta do that in this fast pace. We can't access these bodily sensations that are the product of our intuition and our psychic gifts that each and every one of us have, if we're eating foods that are toxic, if we are engaged in habits that are toxic. Now, this leads me to the next point, which is how would you feel about what you consumed or did if there was no guilt and shame around those things? There's a spiritual belief that it's not what you consume, it's the guilt and shame around it that is actually the problem. And that, if you were to smoke that cigarette but have zero guilt and shame around it, would it still be hurting your body? This idea of what you believe is what manifests, even as far as how things affect your body. So there is a lot to think about this week, a lot. And I think we are at a stage in a collective healing process that it's like the point in time where you go, okay, I could see where this could go if I could feel like what I contributed would make a difference. But this element of, I don't know if it's gonna make a difference. And this week, I want you all to just make a decision that you will be of service. That no, you may not have all the answers, but sharing your story and being creative with the process that you're going through of letting go and shedding and loving yourself and forgiving other people. Let the whole process be an act of service, because every time you shed a tear, it's one tear that won't be shed again. And it's one tear that someone else won't have to shed. Every time you release hatred and anger and a resentment, you're not just doing that for you, you're doing it for the collective, because we are all connected. So the personal work that you're doing on yourself, you are doing for all of us. Every time you honor your body and say, you know what, no, I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna eat this or drink that or smoke this or call that person or text this person or whatever. You aren't just being kind and good to your body. As we know now, the body is the extension of the earth. You're also doing that for the earth. And now what we all know is we're all connected. That means you're doing it for all of us. That is unconditional love. And it starts with each and every one of us alone. We are born alone, we die alone. Our introspective process is intimacy with self. And that's what's called upon right now. And like I said, every bit of cosmic weather is on our side. Even the governmental restrictions are on our side right now, as frustrating as it can be. So take it and use it. Take this opportunity to excavate all that's holding you back from being able to look in the mirror and say, I love you. And I'm here for you, and I'm gonna be good to you today. Because when you're good to you, you're good to the planet, and you're good to every one of us. So I hope you guys enjoyed the weekly woo and extended weekly woo all in one today. I have arrived. I am where I will always be. In love. It's time that we fall in love with ourselves. And if you need help doing that, please reach out. It's what I help people do as I continue to help myself do it. So you can reach me at info@thegoodwoo.org, or you can head to thegoodwoo.org and look at the services tab. Thank you all so much for viewing. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your thank you donations. And please, this week, share this message with people that you think have ears to hear. Because we need the confirmation from each other that we are on the right track. Because the resistance to making change is natural. But right now, get ahead of the change so that your hand isn't forced by the laws of the universe. This week, get ahead of it. Thank you all so much.